Yes.
Yes.
Sheikh Mohammed, huh?
Yes, sir.
Please take your seat.
Thank you, sir.
You have already qualified for IPS
Yes, sir.
and doing training now?
Sir, I have taken leave, extraordinary leave of 1 year, sir.
Okay, like to go for
Yes.
Arch. From your CV, it gives the impression that you are following the lawn tennis.
Yes, sir.
Do you play lawn tennis?
Sir, I used to play in college, but nowadays I don't get the opportunity to play.
Okay. How about the Indian players in lawn tennis? Can you name 3-4 male players?
So, Prajnesh Guneshwaran, Ramkumar Ramanathan, Sumit Nagal. Then earlier times we had Leander Pace, Mahesh Bhupati. These days, these guys are popular.
If you name one person from India who actually done extremely well international arena,
I think Leander Pace, sir.
Leander Pace, not Ramanathan Krishnan. Have you heard?
I am not heard, sir.
He is the one who took India to Davis Cup finals twice.
No, not only Davis Cup final. You went up to the semi-final in the Wimbledon
That too
actually.
twice. Twice.
Wimbledon actually.
No Leander Ramanathan to the first.
Tell me, why India is not doing good in sports in international arena? What is your view on this?
Sir, I think that first of all, a sporting culture is not there. In the schools, if we see the primary education or the secondary education, the focus is on theoretical education. We have the notion that if the child goes into sport, then he'll probably waste his life, or he'll land somewhere as a teacher in school, sports teacher or something like that. So we don't have a support system. So secondly, we don't have quality infrastructure in our tier 2, tier 3 towns. So if we talk about stadiums, running tracks, cycling tracks, we don't have that kind of infrastructure. Thirdly, we don't have a support system in terms of financial support. Now we have started a program where we are identifying good talent and we are supporting them financially, but it will take some time. So I think these are the three main.
So we are giving too much of importance on performance in the examination.
Yes, sir.
And not looking into.
Yes.
You have also appeared in the board examination, both class 10 and class 12.
Yes, sir.
There is saying that in the when the board examination is near, our students are very much stressed, and there's lots of hype and hue and cry, even in the media. And there are so much of counselors giving advice, opening the helpline. Do you feel that at the time of board examinations, our students are feeling stressed? Do we need to do something for this?
Yes, sir, definitely a change is required, because now we have taken exam to be a system of maximization, whereas exam should be something which tests your abilities. So I think the objective behind examination needs to be changed. It is now a rat race actually. So the conduct of examination should be such that there should be continuous comprehensive evaluation, which was also there in our new education policy. So rather than a competition, I think there should be focus on getting to know what you have actually learned or not learned. And yes, so the role of family, parents especially, and the role of teachers, principals, and the role of society at large, everyone should be involved collaboratively, sir.
Okay, come to the again on games, because which is one of our interest areas. I think Tokyo is going to organize the Olympics in near future. Are you aware?
I have heard, sir.
You have heard. You are not sure of the dates when this Olympics will be held. Have you any idea about
2020.
date actually?
No, sir, I don't. I don't have, sir, any idea.
No idea about that. Lawn tennis is one of the activity in the Olympic Games.
Yes, sir.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Acha. You know about the NCOV? Now there is outbreak of coronavirus.
Yes, sir.
Do you feel that this outbreak may impact the Tokyo Olympics, which is going to be held in another 4 or 5 months' time? Or so do you need to have some plan B in place?
Yes, sir. People from all over the world are going to travel to Tokyo, even from China. So there could be some risk factors involved. So yes, I think we should take adequate measures to so that this disease does not spread.
Okay, so we need to have a plan B, because if it is cancelled, then there will be news, because never Olympic Games never cancelled actually.
Yes, sir.
The Munich massacre.
Sir, I don't think cancellation should be done, because a lot of investment, lot of preparation is done from the past 4 years in conducting an Olympic game. So suddenly shifting it to a new venue will require lots of investment, infrastructure and everything. So in place of that, what we can do is we can place adequate measures like thermal scanners at the airports, then quarantine if some of the members in the team, crew members or any other, if they are seen to be showing the signs of the symptoms of the disease, then they should be quarantined. And other measures like we need to have the equipments ready, so if the disease does spread, then we can take immediate measures so that it does not have a wide impact.
Why India is one of the few nations which has every risk that they can that import this particular virus? So what measures we need to take?
Sir, from China, lots of economic activities are taking place. So businessmen are traveling from India to China. Students are also traveling. So there is risk that virus can enter India. So first of all, we have to secure our entry points, airports as well as ports from where people are coming. We need to have scanners over there. Then we need to evacuate people, Indian students and people who are there in China. We have already done that. Still some people are still there. We need to evacuate them, quarantine them, and then we can also follow the Kerala's approach, which they followed during the Nipah virus, tracing the contacts of every affected person and then having a watch or monitoring over them, so that in future the virus does not spread. And we have to treat the ones who have already identified to be affected by the virus, sir.
Okay.
Okay, Zakir, 2019 batch?
Yes,
Achha. Cadre allotment has come?
yes, sir.
Which cadre? Which cadre?
Some Manipur cadre.
Manipur is AGM.
No, sir. It's a separate card.
It is now Manipur and Tripura are one cadre?
No, sir. Only Manipur has its separate cadre.
Achha, Manipur and Tripura.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Achha, achha. Your philosophy is your. You also took philosophy in the previous exam?
Yes.
Ahmednagar, you can tell something about importance of Ahmednagar.
Yes, sir. Sir, Ahmednagar is a historical city. We have lots of forts, palaces. Secondly, it is famous for being the pioneer in cooperative development in Maharashtra. And thirdly, it is called as the land of saints. We call Santanji Bhumi in Marathi. So these three are important features of Maharashtra, because we have many saints like Shirdi Sai Baba, then Avatar Meher Baba, then Anand Maharaj Rishi of Jain Rishi Anand Guruji Maharaj, and we have also Sant Gnaneshwar wrote Gnaneshwari in this region. So that is why we call it land of saints.
In Maharashtra, Ahmednagar and this Vidarbha, they are less developed as compared to Konkan and Satara region. Why it is so?
Sir, Vidarbha, first of all, geographical factor is that it lies in the rain shadow region. So rainfall is not very high. So we have to focus on the agricultural development has not taken place to much extent. Secondly, industries have not come because historically British followed the port-led development model. So they focused on Mumbai and the surrounding region. So that has not actually translated into the Vidarbha or Marathwada region. Thirdly, if we talk about service sector, we don't have skill development institutes or institutes which are focusing on developing soft skills or the skills which are required in BP or IT sector. We don't have that type of education there. So most of the students, they migrate to Western Maharashtra, be it Mumbai, Pune. So that is why these three sectors are lacking. So Vidarbha is also lacking.
What is the stage of movement of separate Vidarbha? Like Telangana has come out of Andhra. What about Vidarbha? What is the status now?
Sir, there has been demands from some quarters, but by and large there is no popular demand as such.
People are happy with one state, with Bombay as capital.
They have their grievances, but I think they are happy to continue with the United Maharashtra. Yes.
Okay, Jaka?
Madam.
Yeah. Which is the world's largest cricket stadium? You are interested in sports? Where
I think it is Eden Gardens in Kolkata. I'm not sure, ma'am.
Correct.
do you read the newspapers daily?
Yes.
3-4 days back, we have constructed a stadium was already there in Gujarat, but we have just reconstructed it. I think with the capacity of 10 lakh probably.
No, 1 lakh.
1 lakh, it is 1 lakh, having the capacity of 1 lakh, which is
Motera.
called Motera.
Yes, ma'am.
So now it is in Gujarat.
Yes, ma'am.
That is the largest in the world, not only in India, in the world, you know. It has been coming out in the newspaper, you know, every time. So you must read that. Very. Are you aware of those judgments, laws passed by UNO for ending the discrimination against women?
There was one convention eliminating discrimination against women, which in Beijing Declaration in 1995.
Beijing Declaration is different, and this elimination of discrimination against women, this is different.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. I got confused. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Women's rights are human rights. What do we mean by that? This has been a slogan, very popular slogan from the feminist scholars and from the women throughout the world.
Ma'am, if we talk about human rights, these rights are those rights which are granted to any individual by the virtue of being human. And women are human, so women rights there are some special rights which are deserved only by women because of their particular characteristics. But I think it is within the broad framework of human rights. So I think human rights is a larger set, and within that women rights is a subset.
You know, there was so much opposition that human rights are not being applied to women, you know. And there was a particular reason for that, you know, that the women were resisting throughout the world. Human rights are not being applied to women as they are not being treated as human beings. Why this particular, have you gone through that?
Ma'am, I think there are some issues in the society which point towards women not being treated with equal human rights. Domestication of women, violence against women, sexual exploitation. Then if we talk about dowry, discrimination in households, day-to-day discrimination. So if we talk about these rights, then because of the structure of patriarchy, I think yes, these human rights are being denied to.
Because there is a slogan, the private is public. Then the answer will come to you. They have a slogan, the private is public.
I think whatever is happening in the private spheres should.
I don't know.
No, you're right. Try. That shows, you know, okay, you have confidence, you have ability.
I think that suppose domestic violence, it happens in the private sphere, but it has to be dealt with publicly. It is criminalized, so it is a criminal act, so it is against the society. So I think in this context, private is.
True, because there was so much of violence, not only in India. You know, wife beating is so common in the West because they drink, because of the alcoholism, you know. But that particular beating, they were treating that it is the sphere of, it is their private sphere. Law should not intervene. That is why they started saying the private is public. You have also written in your, what does your mother do? You have written housewife. Nowadays this term is being registered very much. What word should be there and why it is being registered?
Homemaker.
These we are using homemaker.
Homemaker, huh? Do you think the woman, your mother, who is not may not be very educated, may not be like me, taking interview or being the vice chancellor or anything, whatever the job she does in the family, within the family, it is in any way less important than your father?
No, ma'am, certainly not. I think it is equally, or rather, I would say more important than what my father.
So our Indian tradition also, you read Indian culture, Upanishad, Vedas, they have given more importance. That is a different thing that we have not implemented, that we have not brought that into practice, But because we have been guided by the Western theories, what has been the definition of labor? Labor is that which bring wages. That means that what my grandmothers did, what my mother did, that has no value in terms of economy. But now we realize that has equal value to that of man, to that of your father. So you should now start writing at least homemaker, not the housewife, even if you are guiding by that. Okay, thank you.
My first question to you is, who triggered the Brexit and what is the recent history of Brexit?
So, sir, there were demands from certain quarters because of job losses and visa-related issues. So, former PM, I'm forgetting his name, sir. So he gave a proposal that we should conduct a referendum to decide whether we should stay in the European Union or not. So that was then conducted, and by a narrow margin it was decided that UK should exit the European Union. So in recent history it was a very difficult decision, and there were a lot of complexities. There was the backstop arrangement issue, there was issues regarding the finalization of trade agreements between the EU and UK, but now it has been done. So UK has finally exited from the European Union.
So David Cameron who initiated Brexit.
Yes, sir.
Now, my question to you is, latest what is happening? How France, Germany and others trading with Britain? Backstop is a conceptual thing.
Yes.
But what is happening now on ground? Are you aware?
I'm sorry, sir, I did not follow that news.
There's another very important leader of the world. His name is Vladimir Putin.
Yes.
When he was friendly with Donald Trump, he had a global appeal globally. The moment Trump and he fell out, why did they fall out? And now he's been discarded by everyone. He's a loner. So my question to you as a young man is, how is it that an American president has a paramount influence on global affairs? Two questions I've asked you. Putin's isolation and this man's super importance.
Sir, I think Putin's isolation started with the annexation of Crimea. After that, it was seen as an act of aggression, unprovoked aggression. So after that, the G7 leaders, they decided to boycott him. So I don't think there is much connection between Trump's stand and Putin's relation. Secondly,
Relationship became close even after Crimea. Trump and he were very close. Something else happened. That's a different thing. But what is the current?
Sir, yes, US president has a lot of influence in the global affairs because, sir, I think because of 3-4 issues. First is the economic power. US has lots of trade linkages with the developed as well as the developing world. If we talk about India, it is the largest export destination for India. Then in terms of defense capabilities, US has acquired the role of protecting the countries, the NATO members especially, and also its allies, be it Saudi Arabia or South Korea or Japan and other Australia, these countries. So defense dependency on US is also very high. Thirdly, in the international affairs, US also controls major institutions like IMF, World Bank, because it has the majority share over there. So it has a lot of affairs in economic space as well as defense and strategic space, sir. So that is why you being the head of the most powerful, one of the most powerful countries of the world, he will definitely have some influence on that.
Last point is also influences the United Nations Organization, US. Last.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So
You asked about, what is Ahmednagar famous for?
Yes, sir.
Are you aware of something called the Ahmednagar model?
Yes, sir.
What was it?
Sir, it was developed by Mr. Lakhina. It is called as Lakhina model or pattern. So even before digital revolution, he modernized the office space. Lots of obsolete files were shredded, and a collaborative effort was done to increase the layout space. Then the single window mechanism was introduced, and it was pamphlets were written in colloquial Marathi so that it was easier for people to understand.
How did this continue after he left Ahmednagar? Do you have any idea what was the subsequent situation? Did
Sir,
it continue,
yes.
or did it go back to the old ways?
Sir, it continued to a major extent because after that Maharashtra government established MIDA, Maharashtra Institute of Development Administration.
Where is that located?
It was in Pune, sir. Yes. So that institute also guided other districts as well as it was guiding Ahmednagar district. Yes, to some extent it was a negative fallout was there, but I think more or yes, it continued, sir.
Now, you studied political philosophy.
Yes, sir.
Name some important contemporary political philosopher whom you liked, whom you studied, political philosopher.
Sir, I like Amartya Sen.
The political philosopher.
So socio-political philosophy.
Only a political philosopher.
Political
You name some more mainstream political philosopher
The Hobbes, Locke, something.
in your more contemporary.
He is asking about the contemporary philosophers.
Contemporary
Political
but
philosopher.
even
Yes,
there.
Sir,
The philosophers that you studied, what of your
so
syllabus?
we don't study them in our
Any
syllabus.
contemporary political
No,
philosopher?
sir.
What about Hobbes, Locke, etc.?
Sir, we have studied Locke to some extent,
Not
but
Hobbes.
no, sir.
Locke, what was the important idea of Locke? Most important
Yes, sir. The most important idea was human beings have natural rights. These rights are given to them by nature, and these rights are right to life, liberty, and property. So his theory was natural theory of rights. Rights are not given by state, not given by society, are not derived by tradition, but these rights are given by nature. So by being human, you automatically have those rights, and it is the duty of the state to protect those rights. And if the state fails in protecting those rights, then the people have the power to overthrow that government. Yes.
हेलो फ्रेंड्स, दीक्षांत आईएएस प्रस्तुत करता है दीक्षांत फ्री कोचिंग एंड स्कॉलरशिप प्रोग्राम, भारत सरकार एवं गैर सरकारी संगठनों द्वारा वित्त पोषित। हेलो फ्रेंड्स, दीक्षांत फ्री कोचिंग एंड स्कॉलरशिप प्रोग्राम ऑनलाइन कोर्स का लाभ लेने के लिए गूगल प्ले स्टोर पर जाकर दीक्षांत एजुकेशन टाइप करें और हमारे ऐप को डाउनलोड करें, या दीक्षांत आईएएस के यूट्यूब चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें तथा ऑफलाइन कोर्स का लाभ लेने के लिए या इस बारे में विशेष जानकारी प्राप्त करने के लिए हमारे मोबाइल नंबर पर संपर्क करें 7428092240 9312511015 8851301204